So we have a second session. The first session was very interesting, and now we'll go with the next session. Prajakti Gokhale, she is the director of one of the directors of Institute IABM, and for past 25 years, Prajakti has worked as a freelance educator, facilitator, and a teacher of statistics and mathematics, including Vedic mathematics and ancient Indian mathematics. Having worked with all types of students and teachers across India, he has extensive experience in designing need-based curricula for colleges, schools, and teacher training programs. Aware of the importance of collaborative learning, she also offers career guidance and counseling. Welcome, Prajakti. It's your session now.
Thank you, Raghavendra. Thank you. Welcome all for this nice session. Before sharing my screen, I want to talk about what my session is. It is about Leelavati, which is the ancient text on algebra and geometry. And in this particular session, I am going to explore puzzles in the Leelavati or the problems in the Leelavati and how basically they are connected to linguistic ability also of that time. And I just shared the screen because according to me, it is a very exciting journey of both language as well as entire mathematics. So I hope all of you able to see the screen. Okay. So this is a Leelavati. It is a practical guide. So let us see what Leelavati is exactly and how old this text is. So it is exactly the Leelavati is as old as basically, first of all, I'm going to tell you that it is a part of the text called Siddhanta Shiromani, which is a text written by Bhaskaracharya. And it has got 4 different parts. First part is arithmetic and geometry, which contain 261 shlokas or stanzas. Another part is Bijaganit or algebra, and 2 other parts are Ganitadhyay and Goladhyay, or which is called as a entirely denoted to astronomy. So it contains 954 shlokas, but most applicable and most popular part is actually Leelavati, which is based on everyday maths and everyday geometry, trigonometry, then doing business, profit loss, interest rates. So all these everyday financial mathematics, everyday geometry, everyday we call it as a business dealing, is everything is covered, and this is supposed to be addressed to his daughter Leelavati, and that's why it is considered as addressed to the daughter Leelavati and named as Leelavati. So now there is one shlok in Sanskrit at the beginning of Siddhanta Shiromani. Bhaskaracharya, who is the author of Leelavati, himself tells that who is he and at what age he has written this. So Rasapura Purnamahi Sama Shakadrupa Samaye Abhavat Mama Utpatti. Rasa is the code word for there are 6 rasas. 6 rasas in the food, like sweet, salty, pungent. So there are 6 different rasas in our food. So ras is a code for number 6. Good is a code for triguna. We call it a three gunas or 3 qualities. So this is triguna is a, so good is a code for 3, purna is a code for 0, and mahi is a code for 1. So when you decode the shlok, rasaguna purna mahi sama shakadrupa samaye, it implies that, and always the code 6301 is read Ankanam Vamanogati, that is from backwards to forward. So when I decode it from backward to forward, it's get converted to the number 1036. So this number 1036 is the shak or the time duration at the time of Shalivahan Shaka, which is to be converted to, if I want to convert it to international time, that is AD, you have to add 78 years, and therefore the birth year of the Bhaskaracharya is clearly 1114. So it is that old, or that old this text is. And he has also mentioned that what was the age when he written this particular text. So Rasaguda Varshena Maya Siddhanta Shiromani Rachitaha. Rachitaha means I have written it. Siddhanta Shiromani is the name of this Grantha. Rasaguda Varshena, again Varshena means how old I was. Rasaguda 63, again if you take it from backward to forward, 36. So when he has written this book, his age was 36, he was 36 years old. So that it looks like he was 36 years old and he has written Siddhanta Shiromani. Now what I'm going to do is, we are going to take some examples of Leelavati. I am going to explain them and we will see that how we have solved those examples. Okay. And especially since this is a session for teachers, how we can use such type of pedagogy in our day-to-day classrooms, where we can connect language as well as we can connect maths. So I'm going to read this Sanskrit shlok and there is a translation near it, and then the solution is there in the next slide. So this will be the process in this session. So the first example is based on a simple equation. Panchagna swatri bhago na dashabhakta samanvitaha rashitranshardha padai syatko rashir dravyanu saptatihi. Now what is the meaning of it? Pancha means 5. Swatri means 1/3. Swatri bhaga is for taking, bhag means taking part. So 1/3 part. So it tells us that certain number is multiplied by 5 and 1/3 of the product is subtracted from the result. So this is the first part of the above line. Panchakna swatri bhago no dasha means 10. Dashabhakta samanvitaha means we got the answer from subtracting from 10. Now whatever the quotient is there or whatever the answer is there, this quotient is converted into half, 1/3 and 1/4 of the original number. So to this quotient, half, 1/3 and 1/4 of the original number is added. Shrashi Trianshardha Padai Styatko. And then he tells or asks Leelavati, if this is 68, find the original number. So tell me the original number. Rashi Dravya Nu Saptatihi. So now let us consider this equation, how it is. So now see, this is the equation. Let the certain number be x. So we have to take from the first given condition, we are going to take multiplied by 5, take the 1/3 of that number, so 5x upon 3, and entire thing we have to divide it by 10. So when I do this, I will get 15x minus 5x, which is 10x upon 3 multiplied by 1 by 10. So I left with x by 3. So this is the answer of the first line of the stanza. And suppose I continue with this, then whatever is the quotient, what they have said, jo original number, the one which is original number, you take the half of that, 1/3 of that, 1/4 of that, add it together, and everything together becomes 68. So therefore this is the equation. And then we are supposed to solve this. So this type of problems he is asking to his daughter through the shlokas, using the linguistic approach, using the grammar, and as we can proceed further, we can see how he has also used aesthetic skills of language. So when we solve this, we get the answer 48. And now if I tally this, I can cross tally whether it is really coming. So I can say that 48 upon 2, 48 upon 3, 48 upon 4, if I do and add together, and also again 48 upon 3, I get the answer 68. So we can cross tally that equation, just like we tell our student to tally that, we can do that. So now let us go to the next shloka. So earlier we have seen this shloka where we have taken certain number multiplied by 5, taken 1/3, subtracted from the result, divided by 10, and the quotient half, 1/3 and 1/4 of the original number is added. So entire thing we have done here and we got the answer 68. So now let us see the next question or the next puzzle. Bale Marala Kulamula Dalani Sapta Tire Vilasa Bharamantaganya Pashyam Kurvasya Keli Kalaham Kalaham Sayugmam Shesham Jalevada Marala Kula Pramanam. Now there are some parties in the coded language. Kula Mula. Mula is for square root. In Sanskrit, Mul is for root and Kula is for half. So whenever the word comes Kula Mula, you have to take the half of the square root. And Sapta is multiplying by 7. So, and this particular shlok is about swans. Bale Marala Kulumula Dalani Saptam. Tire Vilasa Bharamanta Ranganya Pashyam. Kurvasya Keli Kalaham Sayugmam. So, Maral means swans. So there were a group of swans at the bank of the lake. Then 7 times of half of the square root of them were roaming in the lake with gradual speed. There is a one couple of swan, of course very busy in their own play. Then if such a situation is there, tell me, my dear girl, how many total number of swans were there in the group. So see, this is a picture. So this is a river bank and there is a swans were there and some swans were there in the water and there is a couple of swan which is there outside. So this is a particular picture. Now we can formulate the equation. So let us see how we can formulate the equation. So let the total number of swans, instead of assuming x, we will take x square. Why we take x square? Because here it is given that we have to take a square root of the, so we have to take the square root of the total. So if we assume total x square, it is easier for us to take the square root, which is x. So therefore half of the square root, Kula Kalal, Kula Mula is half. So which is x by 2. Sapta Kula Mula, 7 times square root, 7x upon 2. Couple of swans means 2 remaining swan. So we will find the quadratic equation that total number of swans, then half the square root are on the bank of the river. Remaining couple of swan, which is 2 swans, are at playing somewhere in their own world. So what is the answer? So this is a quadratic equation, which is a very simple way we can solve it by multiplying 2 everywhere and forming this equation 2x square minus 7x minus 4 equal to 0. And then we can formulate 4 times 2 is 8. So we will get the factors 8 and 1. And then we can find there are 2 roots, x equal to 4 and x equal to minus half. Of course, acceptable value of x is 4. And therefore total number of swans are not x but x square. And hence total swans are 16. So this is a way we have solved this particular problem by constructing from poem the quadratic equation. So now, so this is the way we have proceeded. This was the code. The swan of Pullet, again we can say 7 times half of the square root. One couple of swan busy. So x square minus 7 upon 2 root x is equal to 2 minus 2. So now we have seen that. So now let us proceed to the third particular puzzle. Now this is about, everywhere in Lilavati you will find there is a lot of use of natural things, natural situation. So here the natural situation is about bumblebees. And again, you can see here that Kuladala Mulam, the code word is appearing. So wherever the Kuladala Mulam is appearing, you have to take root x upon 2. Now this is a information about bumblebees. Alikula dalamulam malatim yatamastau nikhiladava bhagas chalini bhrungamekam nishiparimala lubdham padma madhye nirudam pratiranati ranantam bruhi kanteli sankhyaam. So Alikula dala mulam malati yata ashtam. Malati is the name of the tree. So square root of half of them went to Malti tree. Yatam Ashtau. So 8 upon 9 of them again gone to, in a second group, they have again gone to Malati tree. Now Brungam Ekam. Brunga means bumblebee. Ekam means one. Where that one bumblebee has gone? Nishi Parimala Lubdham. Now Parimal is a very nice scent or scented smell of Padma. Padma means lotus flower. So one particular bumblebee attracted to the beautiful smell of the lotus flower. Niruddham means he stuck inside it. So he went inside the lotus flower, but he is not able to come back, and he started calling his girlfriend, which is just roaming around this particular lotus flower. So very sweet situation here. The Bhaskaracharya has explained that some of the group of bumblebees went to Malti tree. That sum is, those number is given to us, that is half of square root of half of them. Then 8/9 of again, total again went to second group to Malti tree. Another third one, which is a simple one, bumblebee stuck inside the lotus by attracting its a sweet smell of it, and then another bumblebee just started calling him so that he can come. So at this end of it, Bhaskaracharya addressed his daughter, Bruhi Kanteli Sankhyam. So he very sweetly asked his daughter, Kanta is a someone very sweet. Who is a Kanta is the meaning of the Kanta is having a bright complexion, or when someone is beautiful. So he is addressing his daughter, oh my beautiful girl, tell me what the number is. So this particular conversation is happening in a very sweet form. So I have gathered this picture also, which explains this shloka. So this is a Malati tree. So the bumblebees went in two groups. One of the bumblebees stuck inside, and his girlfriend, she is there, and she is trying to call him and respond what he's talking. So now let us form the maths out of it now. It's a very beautiful idea. So the maths is like x are the total number of bumblebees. Out of them, root x by 2, Kulamula, that is root x by 2, went to another tree. Second group, total 8/9 of total went to another tree. And those two, girlfriend and boyfriend, which are left, are there. One is stuck in the lotus and other one is waiting for his rescue. So this is a beautiful equation, and now this will become a quadratic equation when we square both sides. So when squaring both sides, it will become quadratic equation, and then we solve it in a regular method. Simple way, the same method is given by Bhaskaracharya, which we still use today in 10th standard textbook. The same method. And then we get the roots of the equation. So we discard the fractional root. We take the complete natural number, and therefore there are 72 bumblebees. So see, this entire picture is clear, and students will remember this particular story forever when it is addressed in a very beautiful way. Now there are another type of puzzle. Let us see that. It is a simple one, very simple. Bhubi Chaturdashakara Mukham Anka Sankyam Bahu Trayadasha Divakara Sammitaucha Lambopi Yatra Ravi Sankhyak Eva Tatra Kshetre Phalam Kataya Tat Kathitam Yadadyai. Now here many code words are given. Bhumi is something called earth. So this is a problem about geometry, and he asked her to calculate. Phalam means area. So he asks her to calculate area. So Bhumi is a earth. So base of the quadrilateral, Chatur Dasha. Chatur means 4. Dasha means 10. So 4 plus 10, 14. So the base of the quadrilateral is 14. Kara is a unit, which is hand. Kara means hand. So the base of the quadrilateral is 14 hands. Mukhamanka Sankyam. Mukham means opposite. Opposite side, Bahu Trayodasha Divakara Sammito. Now Trayodasha is 13. Divakara is a code word for 12. Because Divakar is the sun, and there are 12 names of sun in Sanskrit. There are many names, but there are 12 main names are used in used everywhere in Sanskrit for like Surya, Ravi, Bhanu. So as there are 12 names. So Divakara is a Surya or the sun, and his sun is having 12 names. So Divakara code word is for 12. Lambo is perpendicular. So the height of the quadrilateral is Yatra. P Yatra means same as Ravi Sankhyaka, same as the number of names of sun, which is again 12. Eva Tatra, now. Yatra Tatra means now and then. So now this is a situation. Now tell me, what is the, my dear girl, what is the quadrilateral area? So very simple question. The base is given. Now this I have split it into 9 and 5. So 9 plus 5, 14 is the base given. Chaturdasha, so 14 is a base. Height is given, which is the same as the Divakara or the number of names of sun. So there are 12 names. So therefore 12 and 12 height. Then the opposite side is 9, and then slanted height is 13. So now when I have to find the area, the entire quadrilateral is divided into two parts. One is a rectangle and other is a right angle triangle. So of course the area will be area of a rectangle 12 times 9 plus area of a right angle triangle half into base into height, and therefore the total area, just like today we calculate or tell or teach children to find out area in our textbook, the same way the area is calculated here. Only it is described in a word problem, which we also will describe in a word problem, but in a very aesthetical way or in a poetic language. So now this is what the Bhaskaracharya is famous for, a highest skill of poetry combined with highest skill of mathematics. And that's why his textbook or his work was considered as a standard textbook for 200 years. Now we are going to take a last question in this particular session because time is running out. Here it is again very simple, although it looks very simple. He has asked the open-ended question. Now this open-ended question is rather very interesting. Bhuje dvadashake yav kotikarno anekada prakarabhyam vadakshipram tau tavakarni gatau. So he's asking question. Now Bhuje dvadashake, dvadasha is 12. So there is one of the right angle triangle, one of the side of the right angle triangle is 12. Find the values of the other side and the hypotenuse. Now he has already taught her two methods by which she can find these values. There is a condition he mentions that these two values should not be in fraction, should not be in decimals, but they have to be integers. So basically she wants her to create a triplet of Pythagorean or Pythagorean triplet he is asking her to construct. And but when he is addressing her, he is telling her Prakarabhyam vadam Kshipram. Tau means two. So he has already mentioned that I have already taught you the two methods of constructing this triplet. Now Vadakshipram, Vada means tell me. Kshipram is again the adjective used for this daughter. The Kshipra is the one who is very fast. So he is asking his daughter that you are a very fast, you work very fast. So my dear girl who is working very fast in maths, tell me what are the sides of these triangles. So now here he has given two methods in which he has given direct formulas, which is again those formulas are without, he also given the proof, but of course that proof is very lengthy. So I'm going to use these formulas. So the formulas are like this. Suppose x is a given side, which in this case is 12. You have to select y as any number. Then you can get other side of a right angle triangle with formula 2xy upon y square minus 1 and hypotenuse as x into y square plus 1 upon y square minus 1. So when I substitute x equal to 12 and y equal to 2 in both of these formulas, hello, then I will get the answer as 12, 16 and 20, which is the triplet, Pythagorean triplet. Similarly, there is another method Bhaskaracharya has suggested, which is hypotenuse is half x square upon y plus y and other side is half x square upon y minus y. Again, I will take y equal to 2. Any random value of y you can select. X is already given to us 12. And in this way, if I substitute here, I will get the another triplet 12, 35, 37. Of course, this is an open-ended question. So you can get 3 or 4 more triplets using this formula. If you take the value of y as different, you will get different triplet. So this is a why I have taken this question, because we have to construct such open-ended questions. So now this is a why Lilavati is relevant today. It adds flavor to poetry. Then it explores the feminine aspect, which is very much necessary when it is, because it's addressed to a girl. Now this femininity of poetry is woven in a fabric of maths with very simple, eloquent simplicity and perfection, with the beauty of nature, romance and everyday lifestyle. And of course, I will tell teachers or request teachers to take inspiration from this approach and make this subject interesting. Puzzle creation in Lilavati, also we can construct such puzzles in other subjects in science and geography also. I have constructed one puzzle in English. You can take the screenshot of it and you can tell the answer later on. Over the mountains of snow, there are 36 peaks of shiny glow. 1/4 of them are difficult to go. 1/3 of remaining have the challenging road. How many are attainable with shiny glow? So this is the one of the puzzle I have constructed. So you can try this out, take the screenshot. And this is a one I have constructed in Marathi. So those who know Marathi language, they can take the screenshot of this and try this out. असतील मनीज माझ्या जरी 15 विविध कल्पना, 1/3 त्यातील जरी झाल्या जुन्या, त्यामधील 2 त्वरित मी काढून टाकल्या, किती कल्पना मनी असतील आता उरल्या. So this is one, and another one is based on the flower. 24 पाकळ्यांचे असे हे केशरी सुंदर फूल बरे, 1/6 त्यातील पाकळ्या गळल्या दवबिंदूंमुळे, उरलेल्या पाकळ्यांवर साज सोनेरी चढे, अर्ध्या त्यातील सायंकाळी भूमी समिळे, सांग बरे प्रिया किती राहिल्या पाकळ्या गडे. So again, this is of course, this I think it is a relevant. It is not possible to be a mathematician without being a poet. And of course, maths is beautiful and there is no space for ugly maths in this world. Thank you. And of course, I want to take any questions if you have any. I will stop sharing the screen. Okay, any questions in the chat box? Okay, you want to see puzzle screen of English one more time. Okay. Okay, I will just put that again. Can you see that now? This is a puzzle screen. And I have to make one announcement. Raghavendra, are you there? Hello? Hello? Uh, we will be having a 5 minutes break, but you're not supposed to quit the meeting. You're going to stay here only, all of you, and we will be immediately starting our next session. Okay, so should I stop sharing the screen now? I hope you have taken the screenshot. Okay, any questions? So we are going to explore Leelavati. Now, what is Leelavati? Leelavati is a Sanskrit text. Basically, it is a text of puzzles and mathematics problems written in Sanskrit, and it's very, very old. So it's an old textbook, and I want to show you how this approach is and how we are going to go forward and see how maths is written in a poetic form, in a code language, and how we can extract mathematics from it in a nice way. Okay, so now I am going to share screen with you. Just give me, okay. Okay. So I want to start with this only, the slide which was there in front of you. Instead of telling you about everything about Leelavati, let us see this slide, and there is a puzzle in English written for you. So I want you to work on this puzzle first. So let us see what answer do you get. Otherwise, I will explain to you. Just read the puzzle and try to crack it. So all of you can see the screen. I hope, yes. Oh, you have already started answering. Over the mountains of snow, there are 36 speeds of shiny glow. 1/4 of them are difficult to go. 1/3 of remaining had a challenging road. How many are attainable with shiny glow? So these are these 36 peaks in Himalayan mountains or any mountains which is having the beautiful shiny glow at the sunrise and the sunset. So 1/4 of them are really difficult. So 1/4 of 36 is how much? 9. So 9 are, we can't go to these 9 peaks. So we left with only 27. And 1/3 of remaining. So 27, 1/3 of 27. That is the remaining ones are 27. And 1/3 of them are 9. So 9 is having the challenging road. So 9 is again difficult to go. So 27 minus 9. So how many are attainable? We have a choice of only 18. 36 has a shiny glow, but 1/4 of them is difficult. So 9 are difficult. So they are ruled out. So 36 minus 9, 27. 1/3 of it. So 9, again 1/3 of 27 is 9, which has challenging road. So we don't want to take challenging road. So they are ruled out. So remaining is 18 minus again. So it will be 18 is the answer. So have you understood? So this is a way. Now this I have written in English, but this is a way that Leelavati has has been constructed long years back, very, very old time. So let us see the history of Lilavati first, and then let's explore the total concept of it. Okay, so I'll just start with the first slide, beginning. So this was my actually first slide, but I thought I should give you puzzle first, and through that puzzle now you have understood what the Lilavati is. So it is a practical guide of everyday maths. Now actually it is just one part of a text called Siddhanta Shiromani. So this is Siddhanta Shiromani is a one type of text written when it is written, we will see that it is the author of the book has mentioned himself, the age of the author, and also in the what time he has written it from in the book in the coded language. So this Siddhanta Shiromani has got 4 parts. One is based on arithmetic and geometry, one is based on algebra, one is based on astronomy, and rather both remaining are based on astronomy. So the one which is based on astronomy has total 954 stanzas. So it is everything is in a poetic language. Out of that, Lilavati has got 261 stanzas or shlokas. So we are going to see the Lilavati has become very popular. Why? Because it has got a everyday mathematics, rules of business, rules of finding out interest rates, then whatever we learn in school, simple interest and compound interest. So simple interest, various methods to calculate simple interest, various methods to find areas of the quadrilateral, circle, irregular, triangle, Heron's formula is also there, triangles are there, Pythagorean triplets generation is there, then also fractions, how to deal with fractions, how to solve equations, how to construct quadratic equations. So all this is there in the Lilavati. So let us see now. Now this is the author of the Lilavati, Bhaskaracharya. Now this Bhaskaracharya has written this Sanskrit shlok. I will explain to you, don't get scared. Rasagurna Purna Mahisama Shakadrupa Samayam Abhavat Mamatpatihi Rasaguna Varshena Maya Siddhanta Shiromani Rachitaha. Now there is a code in this. Rasa is different types of taste. We have 6 different types of taste in our food. Pungent, sweet, salty. So these are 6 tastes. Guna is the qualities. We have 3 qualities. Purna is a code for 0 and Mahi is a code for 1. And there is a rule in Sanskrit that always you read backwards. Ankanam Vamano Gati, that read backwards. So when you read this code 6301 backwards, you get the number 101036. So what is this 1036? 1036 is the year in which he has written this book according to the calendar which was that time followed in India. So according to modern calendar, you have to add 78 years into this 1036. So when I add 78 years into this 1036, I will get the answer 1114. So 1114 AD is the time when Bhaskaracharya was born. Then at what age he has written this particular grantha or particular text? Rasaguna Varshena. Again he is writing it in a code. So Rasa is 6, Guna is 3. Read backwards, so 36. So at the age of 36, I have written Lilavati or Siddhanta Shiromani, part of which is a Lilavati. So see how many years we are now in? 2021. And this is 1114. So how many centuries actually back? So 1114 plus 36. So it's around that time. It is written. So it is in the very, very old text. Very old text. So since it is so old, it is more than 900 years old. And still the mathematics of that text is relevant today. the beauty of poetry is relevant today. So we are going to explore it. It is very interesting. You will like it. So now you can see here that this is a particular shloka. So in all these slides, what I'm going to do is I'm going to read this particular stanza. The translation of it is written here. We are going to form the equation or form the question using this, and then we are going to solve it. Okay, so this is a way we are going to do. So Panchagnaha Swatribhago no Dashabhakta Samanvitaha Rashityanshardapadaihi Syatko Rashir Dravyuna Saptatihi. I know nobody will understand it. I will just tell you the keywords. Pancha means 5. 3 means 3. 3 and 3 are very familiar. Sanskrit 3 means 3, and in English also 3. Then Bhagona means taking the fraction. Dasha means 10. So what it is asked you to do, so the certain number is multiplied by 5, 1/3 of the product. So now suppose the number is x. It is multiplied by 5, then it is becomes 5x. 1/3 of the product is 5x upon 3 is subtracted from the result. So x minus 5x upon 3, and this is divided by 10. So this is the first part. Now what is the second part? Second part is to this quotient. So whatever answer you have got subtracting and dividing by 10, what you are supposed to do? Whatever is the original number, you take the half, take the 1/3 and take the 1/4 of original number. So suppose the original number is x, you take the half, which is x by 2, take the 1/3, which is x by 3, take the 1/4, which is x by 4, and to this particular number you add this all and you get the answer 68. So see, such a important, so much lengthy is just expressed in 2 lines. And I want to tell you that this entire text is addressed to his daughter, supposed to be his daughter, called Lilavati. And that's why the name of the text is Lilavati. But when he is addressing to his daughter, never ever he is ordering her. Never ever he is using a harsh language. Since she's a daughter, he's telling her that, please my dear daughter, can you tell this? Please my beautiful daughter, can you find out this answer? Please my quick and intelligent daughter, can you do this? So in entire language of this text, you will find the tone of the language is very sweet and very motivating for the students, and that's why maybe this text has remained textbook for 200 years, and still people use this as a standard book for constructing equations, seeing the problems of quadratic equation. So now let us see how we have done this problem in our modern method. So in modern method, let a certain number be x, which we generally do in school. So there is a first condition given. So what is that first condition? Multiply the given number by 5. Take the 1/3 of that 5, subtract it, and whatever the answer, you have to divide by 10. So when I take it, it will become 15x minus 5x, which is 10x upon 3, and divided by 10. So it will become 1 by 10. 10 will get cancelled and you get the quotient x by 3. Now second part is, from this quotient you take the 1/3, 1/5, so all that is given. So you take the 1/3, 1/4, half, entire things of the original number, and you add to this quotient, you will get answer 68. So this will be our main equation now. And now we can solve this equation by taking LCM as we solve in school. It is just the equation, or it's just the dealing with fractions. And we can take this 2x upon 3, taking x by 3 and x by 2 together, and 3x upon 4 together, and then we can find out the final answer as 48. So this is a very simple shlok of 2 lines have expanded to such a beautiful question of equation. Now let us see the next question. Now the next question, it is about swans, or the situation is given where there are ballet of swans are there in the bank or at the bank of the lake. So see, let us see, I will tell you. Bale marala kula muladalani sapta tire vilasa bharamanthara ganya pasyam kurvascha kedi kalaham kalahan sayugmam shesham jale vada murala kula pramanam. Now see, hansa is swan. Mula is something called as a square root. So Mula Shabda in Sanskrit means square root. Kula means multiplying by half to the square root. So wherever Kula Mula comes, it is a code for taking square root and multiplying it by half. So there was a ballet of swans at the bank of a lake. Sapta means 7. Sapta 7 times half of the square root were roaming in the lake. Vilasa Bharamantha. Bhramar means, Vilasa means roaming in a lake. What happened to others? So 7 times half of the square root of them were roaming in the lake with gradual speed. There is one couple of swan. So there were one couple of swan which were very busy in their play. Now, dear Lilavati, or my dear daughter, tell me the total number of swans. So this is a question. So we assume that since it is a square root is happening here, for our convenience, we assume that total number of swans are x square. So now let us see how it happens in our regular text or in modern. So now this is a picture I have created for this particular shloka, that, or this particular stanza, that these are the swans at the bank of the river. So square root, half of the square root, 7 upon 2 into root x swans were roaming in the water. One couple, which are 2 swans, were busy in their play. So let us see how many total swans were there in the pond. So we have to calculate. So let us construct that in our regular way. So we will assume that since we have to take the square root, it is convenient that let us assume the total number of swans are x square. So when we take the square root of x square, it will become x. So we have to take the square root multiplied by half and also take multiplied by 7. So it will become half of the square root is x by 2. 7 times of the square root is 7x upon 2. Then a couple of swan, which is 2, which are the 2 remaining. So these are the total number of swans. Out of them, these many swans are roaming in the water, and remaining 2 were there in their own play. So we will form the quadratic equation. X square minus 7x upon 2 is equal to 2. So this is the equation we can form now using this particular situation. So in entire Lilavati text, Bhaskaracharya gives certain situation. From that situation, one supposed to construct question, and after constructing question, we have to solve it. So this is a situation from which we have constructed question. Then we have formed the quadratic equation. Then we have found the roots of it, factorize it, and we can see that we get the 2 roots. One is 4, other is minus half. So we construct the question as 2x square minus 7x is 4, multiplying entire equation by 2. So we form the quadratic 2x square minus 7x minus 4 is 0. We factorize 4 times to 8, as 8 times 1 is 8, so minus 8x plus x. Take 2x common. So we know this procedure of factorization. Those who are in 9th grade, 8th grade, 10th grade, they know this. And we take x is 4, but our original number of swans are x square. So therefore total number of swans are 16. So this is the way, still we use the same technique. Bhaskaracharya has also given the same technique 900 years back. So everywhere you go, solution of mathematics are always same. You just change the situation, you change the text, you put the codes, whatever you have to do, but the truth in mathematics are never going to change wherever you go and whichever way you express it. Now there is a next particular puzzle I want to discuss. Again, it is very, very beautiful one. So now everywhere in Lilavati, nowadays we talk about environment. Bhaskaracharya was very sensitive about nature and environment. And everywhere he talks about nature, he talks about environment, he talks about the situation happening around in environment or around him. So this is a situation again where there is a lot of bumblebees are there. Alikuladalamulam malatim yatam ashtau. So now Malati is a name of the tree. So Kuladala is again the code for taking half of the square root. So root x upon 2. So what of root x upon 2 of what? So there are number of bumblebees were there. Out of that, root x upon 2 bumblebees went into one tree of Malti. Nikhila Navabhagas Chalini Bhrungamekam. Now more bumblebees, 8 by 9. Nikhila Nava, Ashtam Nikhila Nava means 8 upon 9 of the total went to another Malti tree. So one Malti tree, root x upon 2 bumblebees went. Another Malti tree, 8 upon 9x bumblebees went. Then Bhrugema Ekam. Bhruga means bumblebee, Ekam means one. Where he went, one bumblebee went, Nishi Parimala Lubdam Padma Madhe Nirudham. Now what is the meaning of this? Padma means lotus. Parimala means sweet aroma of lotus. So one bumblebee got attracted to the sweet aroma of this lotus flower. He went inside the flower, Niruddham. Niruddham means he stuck inside it. So he stuck inside this beautiful lotus flower. Now, what is there happening? Pratiranati ranantam bruhi. So there is another bumblebee, girlfriend of this bumblebee was waiting outside the lotus flower so that he can come out. So she is responding to the bumblebee which is stuck inside the lotus flower is calling for rescue, and therefore his girlfriend responds him roaming around this lotus flower. So this is a situation. See, very interesting situation. Now he addresses to his daughter, Bruhi Kante, Kante Likha Sankhyaam. Kante means a one daughter, a one which is having a very beautiful complexion. So he is calling his daughter my daughter who is having a beautiful complexion. Tell me, what is this answer of this? So total number of bumblebees in the group. Tell me. So this is the question. And I have just depicted this question in the picture. That two groups of the bumblebees went to this tree, Malati tree. This is a particular bumblebee which got stuck inside the lotus flower by attracting to the aroma of this flower. And this is the girlfriend of this bumblebee who is waiting outside and responding to that. He's saying that I have stuck inside, please do something. So this is the situation. I have just tried to put it in the picture. And now let us go to the crude maths facts. So how we are going to solve this? So let the number of bumblebees are x. Then from the given condition or information, we know that out of the total bees, root x by 2. Let us kulamula, that is total root of square root and half of them. So it has to be x half root x minus 8 by 9x equal to 2. So now x upon 9. So this actually here there is a mistake. It should be 2 here. 2 should be outside the square root sign. So it has to be root x upon 2. So it's a mistake. So x upon 9. So 9x minus 8x. So x upon 9 minus 2 is root x upon 2. No, this is correct. So it is x upon 2. When we square both sides, we get x upon 9 minus 2 whole square. This. We solve this using our regular method of quadratic equation. Now this particular equation is little bit complex as it has got fractions. So what we do here, we multiply entire equation by, let us say, 81. And when we multiply entire equation, say, by 81, we get x square minus 36x. 81 times 4, 324. And here we get 81x upon 2. And therefore we form the equation 2x square minus 72x plus 648 is 81x. And this is a formation of the equation. And then we solve this equation. And when we solve this equation, of course, it is not very easy to factorize it, because as you can see, there are 648 times 2 you have to do. And you have to find the factors such that the addition of factors should be 153. So it's not an easy job. But in ancient India, there were various methods of quick factorization also. So people used to do this mentally, and then we get the answer as x equal to 72. So there were 72 bumblebees. Now you can cross check this actually. So if you divide 72 upon 2, you get 36. Root of 36 is 6. Total number is 72. So 72 minus 6 minus 8 upon 9 of 72 is 64. You will see you should get answer 2. So always cross check it with the given equation so that you will know whether your solution is right. So whenever you are doing any equation questions or quadratic equations, please remember that when you get the answer, you have to cross check it in the exam, especially equation questions, so that immediately you can tally that whether your answer is correct or not. And that gives you a lot of confidence that yes, your answer is correct. So this was the third puzzle. Now I'm going to discuss 2 more puzzles, and then I want answers of, then we will see what else Leelavati tells us. Now this is a particular question. If I show you this question, you will find it very easy. So Bhupish Chaturdashakara Mukhamanka Sankyam Bahu Trayodasha Divakara Sammitaucha Lambopi Yatra Ravi Sankyaka Eva Tatra Kshetre Phalam Kathaya Tatkathitam Yadadyai. Now again, nobody will understand the meaning of it. Bhumi is earth. Earth is Bhumi. And earth is something called as base of the quadrilateral. So Bhumi is the code word used for base. So what is the base of the quadrilateral? Chaturdasha Kara. Kara is hand. So there are 14 hands. Hand is a unit of measurement. So base of the quadrilateral is 14 hands. Bahu Trayodasha Divakara Sammito. So the Bahu is the slanted height. Slanted height is 13 units or 13 hands. Divakara is a code word for sun. Divakar means sun. And sun has got 12 names in Indian text. So Divakar is nothing but the number 12. So Divakar is a code word for 12. So 12 Sammitaucho. Sammito means opposite side is 12 unit. Lambopi yatra yavi sankhyak. Lamba means perpendicular. So the perpendicular height is also, api means also, Ravi Sankhya means again 12 units. Now this is a situation is given. There is a particular quadrilateral whose base is 14, whose height, perpendicular height is 12, whose slanted height is 13. Let us find the area of the quadrilateral. Phalam means area. Kshetraphalam means area. Kathaya tat kathitam yadadyai. So quickly you tell me, my dear girl. So as if he's saying her that quickly you tell me the answer of this. So this is a particular diagram, looks like this. So now I hope you are able to calculate it. So this is a quadrilateral having the base 14, Chaturdasha or the 14 units. Slanted height is 13 units. Opposite is 9. Then lamba or the perpendicular height is equal to the Divakara or the 12 names of the Surya or the sun. It is 12. So this is the quadrilateral. So this area can be calculated by finding the area of a rectangle plus finding the area of a triangle. So rectangle area is, we know, 9 into 12 plus area of the right angle triangle, half base into height. So half 5 into 12 and therefore this gives me the answer 138. So this was a simple question explained in terms of shloka that tell me, and also code words are used in this. So let us take, this is the last question I'm going to discuss. I hope these, I know that they are not so easy. Some of them are quite difficult of quadratic and also equation. But still I want to tell you the approach of how they are giving it. Now let us see this. Bhuje dvadashake yavya koti karno anekadha prakarabhyam vadakshipram tau tavakardi gatau. So now he is telling that dvadasha means 10 plus 2. So 12. So there is one right angle triangle whose one side is 12. I want you to find other two sides. Now this is an open-ended question. You can have more than one answer for this. So if one of the side is 12 of the right angle triangle, the condition is other two sides are not in decimals or fraction. They should be in integers. So tell me what can be the possible answers of that. So this is an open-ended question. Ki one of the side is 12 units. Find the hypotenuse and other side. So it can be, and he has mentioned that I taught you two methods. Prakarabhyam. I have taught you two methods. Vada Shipram, tell me. Vada means tell. Kshipra is again the adjective used for the girl. The girl who is very quick in answering. Kshipram is the one girl who is very quick in her action. So my dear girl who is very quick in who you are in a quick in your actions, tell me what can be the answer of this. Now in the textbook of Bhaskaracharya, he has given the ready-made formulas to calculate this, and he has mentioned two methods. So I am going to discuss those two methods. Where one of the side is 12, how can you, there are two unknowns. If we have two known things, then we can always find third by using Pythagoras theorem. But here only one side is given and the condition is given that you have to find other two sides. So there can be more than one answer. So Bhaskaracharya suggested two methods with ready-made formulas which are very interesting and still applied today. So let x be the given side. So given side is 12 to us and y is any selected number. You select y as any number. Then you substitute in this formula 2xy upon y square minus 1. This is the formula for finding or calculating other side. And this is a formula for calculating hypotenuse. So you have to evaluate this by substituting 12 and substituting 2 in place of x and y respectively. So what you will get, 2 into 12 into 2 upon y square is 4 minus 1. So therefore 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 4 times 2 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. So other side is 16. So 12, 16. So one side is 12, other side is 16. And the hypotenuse is obtained by x as 12, y square plus 1, that is 4 plus 1 upon 4 minus 1. So 3 times 4, 4 times 5, 20. So the triplet of the Pythagorean which we get is 12, 16, 20. So this is the ready-made formulas given by Bhaskaracharya in his text, so that if the one given side is given to you, how you can generate the triplet by taking random value of y given one value of x. So this is one formula. Now there is also another method he has suggested, and he mentioned in the shloka that, dear girl, tell me by both methods what are the answers that you are going to get. So he is clearly asking her to find out the answer by both the methods. So this is method 1, and now this is method 2, where hypotenuse is half x square upon y plus y, and other side is half x square upon y minus y. So comparatively this formula is very simple. So x is 12 again. We have selected y as 2. X is given to us. So the hypotenuse is 12 square upon 2. That is 144 upon 2 plus 2. So that is 37. So this is 37, and then because 148 upon 4, and other side is half 12 square upon 2 minus 1. So 140 upon 4, so 35. So therefore we get the triplet 12, 30. But we can get more triplets also with one side 12, other two sides are different. So these are just two answers I have given. There can be more than two answers because this is an open-ended question. So this is a way. So why Lilavati is relevant today? I know it is very difficult and you should know little bit Sanskrit for this, but still, in the perspective of students, why it is relevant today, and in the perspective of teachers also. First of all, the entire text adds the flavor of poetry to mathematical crude facts. If someone is teaching us mathematics, but in a very nice way of poetry, then of course the students will enjoy it. The one puzzle which we have seen at the beginning of it, which is a puzzle, actually it is a poetry for say mountains, but we have constructed puzzle inside it, so it becomes interesting. Now it explores the feminine aspect of subject. So what is the feminine aspect of subject? Generally the feminine aspect of subject is the beauty of the subject or the beauty of the mathematics, and that beauty is revealed through aesthetic examples, through the situations, through the environment, and that is why maybe I think it is addressed to a girl, so that Bhaskaracharya can extract the beauty of the subject of mathematics. He can extract the aesthetics of mathematics and put forward in front of the entire world that, see, mathematics is not a very dry subject. You can teach in this way also. So it is a classic example that how we can make mathematics interesting by using poetic flavor to it. So the femininity of poetry is woven in a fabric of maths with eloquent simplicity and perfection, with the glamour of beauty of nature, romance, and also everyday lifestyle. So when we study certain text, old text, we not only learn maths, but we also try to observe the lifestyle through those examples, that how that time the lifestyle will be there. Like when he explains the problems of simple interest, we able to find out that what were the units used that time, what were the money. He has mentioned the units of money. He has several times he has mentioned the units of gold, silver, which was there in the everyday business. So all this is there, so we can see the social fabric of day-to-day life through this particular text and how the lifestyle was that time. So therefore today's teachers as well as students, they can inspire from this approach. So we can take this approach to make our subject. I just request everyone to mute. Hello, please mute yourself. So we will just extend this approach to make maths interesting. Now this is a puzzle creation. Now Lilavati is not only the text of poetry, but we have seen that there are many coded words are there in it. So that will inspire the students to combine language not only with maths, but you can also combine this with science and geography. And I will request students to create such puzzles to reveal scientific facts also, or to remember some geography facts also, where generally we have to sometimes by heart certain numbers and certain facts, and it is very difficult to by heart them, especially in geography and history. So we can make it interesting if we create certain type of puzzles or certain types of riddles. And I think it is a very good creativity exercise to everyone. And now this is a puzzle which I have already showed you earlier to tell you what is exactly Lilavati is. And now this is a two puzzles who know Marathi language. Since my mother tongue is Marathi, I have constructed these two puzzles in Marathi. I will translate them in English. Astila mani माझ्या 15 विविध कल्पना. That is, in my mind there are 15 different ideas are there. 1/3 त्यातील जरी झाल्या जुन्या. So out of that 1/3 ideas have become old. So out of 15 ideas I had in the mind, 1/3 of them have become old. So how many are left? Since 1/3 have become old, so 1/3 of 15 is 5, so only 10 are left. तयामधील 2 त्वरित मी काढून टाकल्या. So 2 of them, 2 out of 15, so I have removed them. How many ideas are left? So 5 ideas I have removed to remain 10. 2 have become old, so I have removed it immediately. So the remaining ideas are 8 only. So this is one puzzle I have created in Marathi. Similarly, I have created another in Marathi only. I will translate it in English. 24 पाकळ्यांचे असे हे केशरी सुंदर फूल बरे. So there is one flower having 24 petals. 1/6 त्यातील पाकळ्या गळल्या दवबिंदूंमुळे. So out of that, 1/6 of those petals, dewdrops, because of the dewdrops which are there in the early morning, 1/6 of petals have gone. So 1/6 of 24, so 4 petals have gone. So 24 minus 4, 20 are left. उरलेल्या पाकळ्यांवर साज सोनेरी चढे. So on these remaining 20, a beautiful, when the sun rises after dewdrops, there is a beautiful sunrise is coming on these petals. अर्ध्या त्यातील सायंकाळी भूमी समिळे. Out of them, half of them in the evening just get down to the ground. So out of 20, half of them just get down to the ground. So 10 just goes away to the ground. सांग बरे प्रिये किती राहिल्या पाकळ्याकडे. So my dear girl, my dear darling, tell me how many petals are remaining. So the answer will be 10. So this is a way I have just showed you that we can inspire from Lilavati and construct the use the poetic approach and construct our own puzzles. And that's what we have done in this seminar as well, that we have conducted Lilavati competition, in which we were expecting such puzzles from students, and shortly we are going to discuss the results of all this also. So the mathematics is a pattern, must be beautiful. There is a beauty everywhere in maths. There is no ugly mathematics exist in the world. And of course, when a person is a mathematician, he has to be a poet in his soul. So with this particular way, I want to end this session, and I am ready to take questions now. I stop sharing the screen. Thank you. Yes.
It was a very nice session, ma'am, and
Thank you.
you really got into the beauty of mathematics in terms of shlokas as well as how mathematics is combined. It was an excellent session.